This is a Mr. T adventure story. You can follow Mr. T and his gymnastic team friends, Miss Bisbee, Robin, Jeff, Woody, Sky, and Spike in your very own book. It's easy. Read along. When you hear this tone, it means turn the page. Now, here's Mr. T.
For today's work, we are going to be naming ionic compounds. Ionic compounds are always going to have a metal cation and a non-metal anion. The metal is going to have a positive charge, the non-metal is going to have a negative charge. For naming these, you will want to have two periodic tables handy. This one is handy because it has the names on it. This one is handy because it has charges on it. So, for some of these, you are going to need to have Roman numerals telling the charge of the metal. For others, you will not. You will need to have a Roman numeral telling the charge if it is a metal that has multiple charges. If it is a metal like calcium, which is always +2, or cesium, which is always +1, that does not need a Roman numeral. If it is a metal like cobalt, which has multiple listed charges, that needs a Roman numeral. So, for our first problem, we have titanium and we have iodine. So, we have titanium and we need to figure out its Roman numeral. To figure that out, we need to know the charge of this titanium. So, to do that, we are going to look at the charge of the iodine. Iodine has a -1 charge. This gives us a total negative charge of 2, so we must have a positive charge of 2. So we have titanium, Roman numeral 2, then iodine is changed to iodide. All of the non-metal anions, the ending is going to change to "ide." So we have iodide. Next, we have a compound with iron and nitrogen. Again, the iron is a transition metal. It has multiple charges given. We are going to need to have a Roman numeral. So we have iron. Now we need to look at our charges. Nitrogen has a charge of -3. There are 3 irons, so each iron must have a charge of +1. So we have iron 1 nitride. The nitrogen ending is changed to "ide." Next, we have a compound with aluminum and bromine. Looking at the periodic table with charges, we see aluminum is always +3, so we do not need a Roman numeral here. So we are going to have aluminum bromide. Again, no Roman numeral because aluminum always has a +3 charge. Lastly, we have copper with phosphorus. Copper can have multiple charges, so it will need a Roman numeral. So we're going to have copper. Now we need to think. Phosphorus is always a -3. So the copper must be +1, so that we have a +3 charge and a -3 charge. So we have copper, Roman numeral 1, phosphide. I pity the fool.
Ever do something that you knew was wrong, but you did it because you thought you had a good reason? Well, this is a tale called The Mystery of the Forbidden Monastery. We were on our way to a meet, but there was no meet. Sounds confusing? One of our team members knew the scoop, but ended up leading us into a mess of trouble. Here's the story.